Long before humans built cities, wolves ruled the silence of the wilderness. Across frozen tundras, endless forests, and dark mountain valleys, they survived not through brute strength alone, but through intelligence, unity, discipline, and loyalty. A wolf is not merely a predator, it is a creature built around family and survival. Every member of the pack has a role. Some protect the young, some scout the territory, some lead the hunt, while others defend the weak. Unlike many animals that abandon injured members, wolves are known to slow down for the sick and old. They communicate through body language, scent, eye contact, and haunting howls that can travel miles through the night. To the outside world, the howl sounds terrifying, but within the pack, it carries messages of direction, warning, reunion, and belonging. Wolves understand something humans often forget. Survival becomes easier when the group moves as one heart instead of many selfish minds. In the wild, loneliness can mean death, but unity creates power strong enough to challenge storms, hunger, and even larger predators. The leadership of wolves is one of the most misunderstood systems in nature. Popular stories often describe the alpha wolf as a violent dictator forcing others into obedience, but real wolf packs function more like families than armies. The leaders are usually the parents, experienced wolves who guide the group with wisdom, patience, and protection rather than constant aggression. A strong leader eats after ensuring the young are safe, chooses safe routes during migration, and takes responsibility during danger. During hunts, wolves coordinate with astonishing precision. Some chase prey toward hidden pack members, while others cut off escape routes. Every movement is calculated. Young wolves learn by observing elders, slowly earning trust and responsibility over time. Leadership among wolves is not about shouting the loudest or showing dominance every second. It is about carrying the burden of the group. The pack follows leaders because those leaders prove they can protect the family during hunger, winter, and war against nature itself. Humans have studied wolves for centuries because their behavior mirrors many truths about society and survival. Wolves teach discipline without words. They remind humans that strength without loyalty becomes destruction, and intelligence without teamwork eventually collapses. A wolf rarely wastes energy fighting meaningless battles. It watches, studies, waits, and strikes only when necessary. This patience is one of the reasons wolves survived ice ages and changing climates, while countless other predators disappeared forever. Wolves also teach emotional intelligence. Scientific observations have shown wolves grieving lost pack members, protecting injured companions, and playing with pups to teach them social behavior. Their world is built on trust. A single selfish wolf can endanger the entire hunt. Humans often celebrate individual success, but wolves show that communities survive longer when individuals sacrifice for one another. In many ways, the wolf reflects the ancient version of humanity itself, tribal, cooperative, protective, and deeply connected to family bonds. In Turkish culture, comparing children to wolves carries deep historical and symbolic meaning. Ancient Turkic civilizations viewed the wolf as a sacred symbol of courage, resilience, freedom, and survival. One of the most famous legends in Turkic mythology tells of a mythical she-wolf named Asena who rescued and raised an injured child after a devastating war, eventually becoming the ancestor of Turkic tribes. Because of this story, the wolf became a symbol of rebirth and national spirit among many Turkic peoples. Turkish parents sometimes compare their children to wolves because they want them to grow fearless, intelligent, loyal to family, and mentally strong against hardship. In harsh Central Asian environments where ancient Turkic tribes lived, Survival depended on discipline, bravery, and unity, the same qualities wolves displayed in nature. To them, the wolf was never just an animal, it was a teacher of endurance and identity. Even today, the image of the wolf remains powerful in Turkish literature, military symbolism, folklore, and national pride. Despite their terrifying reputation in movies and myths, wolves are far more complex than the monsters humans imagined. Most wolves avoid humans whenever possible. Many ancient fears were created because wolves competed with humans for land and livestock during difficult historical periods. Over time, stories transformed them into symbols of darkness and evil, but reality paints a different picture. Wolves play a critical role in balancing ecosystems. By controlling populations of deer and other herbivores, they protect forests from overgrazing, allowing plants, rivers, birds, and entire ecosystems to recover naturally. Scientists observed dramatic environmental recovery in places where wolves returned after decades of absence. Nature itself changes when wolves exist within it. The wolf represents balance, a creature both feared and necessary. Perhaps this is why humans remain fascinated by them. Deep inside, people recognize something ancient within the wolf, the instinct to protect family, survive impossible winters, follow worthy leaders, and keep moving forward even when the world turns cold and unforgiving.
As darkness falls across the wilderness, the wolf pack awakens. Snow crunches beneath their paws, while cold wind carries the scent of prey through the forest. Hunting for wolves is not random violence, it is strategy, patience, communication, and calculation. A single wolf can be dangerous, but a united pack becomes one of nature's most efficient hunting forces. Before attacking, wolves observe carefully. They search for weakness, exhaustion, injury, or separation within a herd. Rather than wasting energy on impossible battles, they choose targets that maximize survival for the entire family. During the chase, every wolf understands its role almost instinctively. Some push prey forward, others wait silently to intercept from hidden angles, while experienced leaders control the rhythm of the attack. Their movements resemble military coordination more than animal chaos. In deep winter, when food becomes scarce and temperatures become deadly, one successful hunt may determine whether the pack survives another week. Every bite of meat feeds not only the hunters, but also nursing mothers, playful pups, and aging wolves waiting back at the den. The center of wolf society is not violence, it is family. Wolf pups are born blind and helpless, completely dependent on the pack for survival. Mothers guard them fiercely, while fathers bring food and patrol nearby territory against threats. Older siblings often help care for younger pups, creating a system where responsibility is shared among all members. Young wolves learn everything through observation and experience. They learn how to track scent, understand warning signals, respect hierarchy, and cooperate during hunts. Play becomes training. What appears to humans as harmless wrestling between pups is actually preparation for survival. Through these games, wolves develop strength, reaction speed, emotional control, and trust in one another. Unlike animals that scatter after birth, wolves maintain strong family bonds for years. Some offspring remain with the pack long after adulthood to help protect younger generations. This deep loyalty is one reason wolf packs become so powerful. Each generation passes knowledge to the next, allowing the family to adapt and survive across changing environments and dangerous seasons. One of the most remarkable things about wolves is their psychological intelligence. Wolves constantly read emotions and intentions through tiny physical signals. A lowered tail, direct eye contact, Ear movement, posture, or even silence can communicate complex messages within seconds. Aggression inside the pack is surprisingly limited because wolves understand that unnecessary conflict weakens the entire group. Experienced wolves avoid chaos whenever possible. They know that injury can mean death in the wild. Because of this, wolves value control, discipline, and emotional awareness more than reckless dominance. Scientists observing wolf behavior discovered that packs often make collective decisions during movement and hunting. Leadership exists, but cooperation remains essential. In many situations, wolves appear capable of empathy. Injured wolves may receive food from other members, and grieving behavior has been observed after the loss of close companions. These emotional connections reveal that wolves are far more socially advanced than humans once believed. Beneath their fierce exterior exists a society built on communication, memory, relationships, and mutual dependence. Humans can learn powerful lessons from the daily life of wolves. In modern society, many people chase success alone, believing independence is the highest form of strength. Wolves show the opposite reality. True strength often comes from trust, unity, and sacrifice for others. A wolf that refuses cooperation cannot survive harsh winters for long. Wolves also demonstrate extraordinary resilience. They endure starvation, freezing storms, injuries, and endless migration without surrendering their instinct to move forward. Even after failure, they continue hunting with patience instead of panic. Humans frequently destroy themselves through impatience, ego, and internal conflict, while wolves survive because they remain focused on collective survival rather than individual pride. Wolves also teach balance between courage and caution. They are fearless when necessary, yet careful enough to avoid pointless risks. Their behavior reflects a deep understanding of nature's laws: conserve energy, protect the family, respect leadership, and never underestimate the danger of isolation. Among Turkish and broader Turkic cultures, wolves became symbols of warrior spirit, partly because of these exact characteristics. Ancient Turkic tribes lived in unforgiving lands, where survival required mobility, discipline, and unity similar to wolf packs. Parents compared brave children to wolves because wolves represented mental toughness rather than simple aggression. A child described as wolf-like was expected to grow resilient during hardship, loyal to family, protective of the weak, and fearless against enemies. In Turkic military traditions, wolves often symbolized guidance through darkness and victory against impossible odds. Some ancient armies even carried wolf symbols into battle to inspire courage and unity among soldiers. Over centuries, this symbolism entered stories, poetry, and parenting culture. Turkish fathers especially admired the wolf's ability to lead and protect the pack under brutal conditions. Mothers admired the fierce devotion wolves showed towards their young. To them, wolves embodied the balance between strength and compassion, powerful enough to survive war and winter, yet deeply connected to family bonds.
Winter is the true battlefield of the wolf. When rivers freeze, forests fall silent, and snow buries the earth beneath endless white darkness, survival becomes a daily war against hunger and exhaustion. During these brutal months, wolves may travel dozens of kilometers in a single night searching for prey. Their bodies are built for endurance rather than short bursts of speed. Thick fur protects them from temperatures far below freezing, while wide paws act like natural snowshoes across icy terrain. But even with these advantages, winter pushes every wolf to its limit. Many hunts fail. Prey animals fight desperately for survival, and a single injury can destroy the future of an entire pack. Yet wolves continue moving forward with relentless discipline. They do not panic when conditions become harsh. They adapt. They conserve energy, follow migration routes, and depend on teamwork to overcome the impossible. In the wilderness, winter exposes weakness without mercy, and wolves survive because they understand one law better than most creatures: endurance matters more than comfort. The hunting methods of wolves during winter reveal astonishing intelligence. Wolves rarely attack blindly. They observe herds for hours, studying movement patterns and identifying the most vulnerable target. Deep snow becomes both a weapon and an obstacle. Large animals tire quickly, while wolves, lighter and more coordinated, maintain pressure until exhaustion breaks the prey's defenses. Experienced wolves often lead younger members during these hunts, teaching them timing, positioning, and patience. Every failed hunt becomes a lesson. Young wolves learn when to chase, when to wait, and when retreat is wiser than risk. Unlike humans, who often fear failure, wolves accept it as part of survival. They understand that desperation leads to mistakes. This calm under pressure is one reason wolves became symbols of resilience across many cultures. Their ability to remain focused during starvation and freezing storms reflects a mindset humans deeply admire but rarely master. Wolves survive not because life is easy, but because they continue adapting even when nature offers no mercy. Inside the pack, winter strengthens emotional bonds. Wolves sleep close together to preserve warmth, especially around pups and older members. During food shortages, adult wolves sometimes eat less so younger pack members can survive. Leadership becomes most important during these dangerous months. A weak or selfish leader can lead the entire pack into death, while an experienced leader guides the family towards safety and food. Wolves trust leaders who prove themselves through protection and wisdom rather than fear alone. This is one reason wolf society fascinates human researchers. Their survival depends not only on strength, but also on emotional stability and cooperation. Panic spreads danger. Discipline creates survival. Wolves instinctively understand that chaos inside the pack is more dangerous than enemies outside it. Humans often collapse under internal conflict, jealousy, and division, while wolves remain united because nature punishes disunity immediately. In many ways, wolves reveal the harsh truth of survival. Groups that protect one another endure longer than groups consumed by selfishness. For centuries, humans living near wild lands observed these qualities and connected them to ideals of courage and leadership. Among Turkic peoples especially, the wolf became a symbol of surviving impossible hardship. Ancient nomadic tribes crossed frozen mountains, empty steppes, and violent landscapes where only the mentally strong could endure. They saw their own struggles reflected in wolves. A wolf never begs nature for mercy, it faces the storm directly. Because of this, Turkish parents often used wolves as examples while raising children. They wanted their sons and daughters to develop inner strength, patience, discipline, and loyalty to family. In old Turkic stories, wolves guide lost warriors through darkness and help tribes survive extinction. These stories were not only myths, they carried lessons about resilience. To compare a child with a wolf meant hoping that child would grow brave during suffering instead of breaking beneath it. The wolf symbol represented survival through intelligence, unity, and courage when the world becomes cold and unforgiving. Modern science has also revealed how important wolves are to the balance of nature. In ecosystems where wolves disappeared, deer populations often exploded uncontrollably, damaging forests, rivers, and plant life. But when wolves returned, the entire environment began changing. Herbivores moved more carefully, forests regenerated, birds returned, and riverbanks stabilized. This phenomenon shocked scientists because it showed that wolves influence far more than prey populations. Their presence reshapes entire ecosystems. Wolves create balance simply by existing within the food chain. This role transformed how many people view them today. They are no longer seen only as predators, but also as guardians of of ecological balance. Yet despite scientific understanding, humans remain emotionally fascinated by wolves for another reason. Deep within the wolf's life exists something ancient and familiar: the struggle to protect family, survive hardship, follow strong leadership, and continue moving forward through darkness. The wolf reflects the side of humanity that civilization never completely erased.
The voice of a wolf is one of the most haunting sounds in nature. Across empty valleys and frozen forests, a single howl can travel for miles through the darkness. To humans, the sound often feels mysterious or frightening, but within the wolf pack, every howl carries meaning. Wolves use vocal communication to gather separated members, warn rivals, protect territory, and strengthen emotional bonds between the family. Each wolf possesses a slightly unique howl, allowing pack members to recognize one another even from great distances. During lonely nights, entire packs may howl together, creating a chorus that reinforces unity and reminds every member they are not alone. But wolves do not communicate through sound alone. Their true language is hidden in movement and expression. A simple glance, the angle of the ears, the position of the tail, or the way a wolf approaches another can deliver messages more effectively than violence. This silent communication reduces conflict inside the pack and keeps order without constant fighting. Wolves understand that survival depends on emotional control as much as physical power. One of the strongest traits within wolf society is loyalty. Wolves form bonds that can last for years, sometimes for life. Mated pairs often remain together permanently, raising generation after generation as partners. The pack protects its young with extreme dedication, and even adult wolves continue supporting weaker members during difficult times. Researchers observed wolves returning repeatedly to injured companions instead of abandoning them. In some cases, healthy wolves shared food with those unable to hunt. These behaviors reveal that wolves are not mindless killers driven only by instinct. They are deeply social creatures capable of attachment, trust, and emotional memory. Young wolves grow up surrounded by structure and responsibility. Elders teach discipline naturally through daily life rather than constant punishment. Respect is earned through experience and reliability. This system creates stability inside the pack. Humans often struggle because societies become divided by ego, greed, and selfish ambition. But wolves survive because every member understands the importance of collective loyalty. A selfish wolf weakens the entire family, while a loyal wolf strengthens everyone around it. The emotional intelligence of wolves continues to surprise scientists. Wolves are capable of recognizing tension, fear, confidence, and weakness among both their own pack and other animals. They respond differently depending on the emotional state of the group. During dangerous moments, experienced wolves remain calm to prevent panic from spreading through the pack. This emotional stability is critical in survival situations where fear can lead to deadly mistakes. Wolves also display behaviors resembling grief. Some packs were observed staying near dead companions for extended periods, showing visible changes in behavior after loss. Others became unusually quiet and withdrawn when separated from close members. These reactions challenge the old belief that animals lack deep emotional lives. Wolves prove that intelligence is not measured only by tools or language, but also by relationships, cooperation, and emotional awareness. In many ways, their social structure resembles ancient human tribes more than modern human society. Both depended on trust, leadership, shared struggle, and the survival of the group above individual comfort. The wolf's symbolism became deeply rooted in Turkish culture because these emotional and social qualities mirrored the ideals ancient Turkic societies respected most. Among Turkic tribes, survival depended heavily on unity, discipline, courage, and loyalty to the clan. Wolves embodied all these values naturally. Stories passed through generations described wolves as guides through darkness, protectors during hardship, and symbols of national survival. Turkish parents compared children to wolves, not because they wanted them to become violent, but because they admired the wolf's endurance, intelligence, and devotion to family. A child raised with the spirit of the wolf was expected to stand strong during suffering, protect loved ones fearlessly, and remain loyal under pressure. Even today, the image of the wolf appears throughout Turkish history, military symbolism, literature, and folklore. It represents the belief that true strength is not reckless aggression, but controlled power guided by responsibility and honor. This respect for wolves survived centuries because the animal reflects qualities humans continuously seek within themselves. Yet the relationship between humans and wolves has always carried contradiction. People fear wolves because wolves remind humanity of nature's untamed side, the part of existence untouched by civilization, laws, or comfort. At the same time, humans admire wolves because they represent freedom, resilience, and authenticity. Unlike humans, wolves never pretend to be something they are not. They live according to survival, loyalty, and instinctive truth. Perhaps this is why wolves continue to appear in stories, myths, films, and dreams across nearly every civilization on Earth. They symbolize the ancient battle between fear and respect, wilderness and order, isolation and family. When humans look into the eyes of a wolf, many feel they are seeing a reflection of something forgotten inside themselves, the primal instinct to survive, protect the tribe, and endure against impossible odds.
For thousands of years, wolves have walked beside human history like shadows at the edge of civilization. Ancient hunters once competed against them for survival, feared their presence near villages, and listened to their howls beneath moonlit skies. Over time, wolves became more than animals in human imagination. They transformed into symbols of fear, courage, wisdom, wilderness, leadership, and survival itself. Entire civilizations built myths around them. Warriors painted wolves on shields. Tribes believed wolves guided lost people through darkness, and storytellers described them as guardians of forgotten forests. Even modern humans, surrounded by technology and cities, remain emotionally connected to the image of the wolf. Something about the wolf feels timeless. It represents a life untouched by comfort, a life where loyalty matters more than wealth, where leadership is earned through sacrifice, and where survival depends on unity instead of selfishness. This deep connection explains why wolves continue to fascinate humanity more than almost any other wild predator on Earth. Despite centuries of fear and hunting, wolves never disappeared completely. Humans tried poisoning them, trapping them, and driving them from forests and mountains, yet wolves adapted again and again. Their survival became proof of extraordinary resilience. Wolves learned to avoid danger, change migration patterns, and rebuild packs even after devastating losses. This ability to recover is one of the greatest lessons humans can learn from them. Life repeatedly destroys and rebuilds the wolf, but the wolf continues moving forward. Failure does not stop it. Hunger does not break it. Isolation does not erase its instinct to survive. In a world where many people lose direction after hardship, the wolf stands as a symbol of endurance under pressure. It survives because it accepts struggle as part of existence instead of running from it. Nature rewards adaptability, discipline, and patience, qualities wolves mastered long before humans built modern society. The leadership system of wolves also carries powerful lessons for humanity. In human society, leadership is often associated with control, status, or power over others. Wolves reveal a different reality. A true leader protects first and commands second. The strongest wolf is not always the loudest or most aggressive. Often, the best leader is the one capable of guiding the pack safely through starvation, storms, conflict, and uncertainty. Wolves follow leaders who prove themselves through action.
During hunts, experienced wolves take responsibility for strategy and protection, while younger wolves learn gradually through observation. This creates balance inside the pack. Human societies frequently collapse because leaders pursue personal gain while ignoring collective survival. Wolves survive because leadership exists for the benefit of the group rather than the ego of one individual. Their example reminds humanity that authority without responsibility eventually destroys trust, while leadership built on protection creates unity strong enough to survive hardship. In Turkish and Turkic peoples, the wolf became one of the most respected symbols precisely because it reflected these survival values. Ancient Turkic tribes crossing the harsh steppes of Central Asia saw the wolf as the perfect image of endurance and freedom. In their legends, wolves guided lost tribes, protected children, and helped nations rise again after destruction. Turkish parents compared children to wolves because they wanted them to become mentally strong, fearless under pressure, loyal to family, and capable of surviving difficult realities. The wolf symbol carried hope that future generations would never surrender during hardship. Even today, many Turkish cultural traditions still preserve this ancient admiration. The wolf represents not cruelty, but courage controlled by wisdom. It symbolizes the belief that survival belongs to those who remain disciplined, united, and emotionally strong when darkness surrounds them. Through centuries of war, migration, and struggle, the wolf remained a reminder that true strength comes from resilience and loyalty rather than comfort. In the end, the story of the wolf is also the story of humanity itself. Both wolves and humans survived ice ages, hunger, conflict, and changing worlds through cooperation and intelligence. Both formed families, protected their young, followed leaders, and depended on social bonds for survival. But modern humans often drift away from these instincts, becoming isolated, divided, and disconnected from nature. Wolves remind humanity of something ancient that still exists beneath civilization: the instinct to belong, to protect, to endure, and to move forward together against impossible odds. When the final howl echoes through the frozen wilderness, it is more than the voice of a predator. It is the voice of survival itself, a reminder that the strongest creatures are not always the biggest or the most feared, but the ones capable of loyalty, discipline, patience, and unity when the world becomes cold and merciless.
The screen slowly fades into darkness as the final howl of the wolves echoes across the frozen mountains. Snow continues falling beneath the pale moonlight, while the pack disappears silently into the endless forest, moving together like shadows born from the wilderness itself. For thousands of years, wolves survived storms, hunger, war, and extinction because they understood something humanity is still trying to learn. Strength alone cannot save a life, but unity, loyalty, discipline, and leadership can protect generations. In every forest where wolves still roam, nature remains balanced. In every story humans tell about wolves, there exists admiration hidden beneath fear. Perhaps that is why the wolf continues to fascinate the human soul, because deep inside, humans recognize their own forgotten instincts within the eyes of the wolf. The desire to protect family, follow purpose, survive hardship, and never surrender against the darkness. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, support the channel with a like, subscribe, and share. More cinematic deep documentaries are waiting ahead.